our press reviewer, Nicholas Rushworth. He joins me now. Nicholas, thanks for being with us. Now, you're going to start out with racial tension in Israel. Tell us more.
Well, that's in the publication Ynet, which is headlining "Gang Terrorizes Foreigners." It talks to one of the victims of racial tension in Tel Aviv overnight Wednesday, so earlier this week, saying that he is scared. There you can see a photo there of an attack on an African. Now, a mob attacked Sudanese migrants during a demonstration attended by 1,000 people in a part of Tel Aviv near the bus station. Ynet is reporting that one MP's comment that Israelis should not be using methods against migrants, methods which have been used against them in the past when they've been the victim of anti-Semitism. So what's come to the fore is that the African migrant issue, there are believed to be around 60,000 in Israel, is fueling tensions. Benjamin Netanyahu, his response is, yes, calm down, but also I will send these people back home once the border fence is built between Israel and Egypt. El Haaretz is covering this race riot issue. The journalist for that paper says, "Oh, I've covered terror attacks and protests and all kinds of events, but I have never seen such hatred as it was displayed in the riot. It spiraled out of control," that on overnight Wednesday. Now, the editorial in Haaretz is saying that there were MPs at the demo, including Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud, and one of the MPs for Likud said the Sudanese are a cancer in our body of Israel. Now, the paper is arguing this is a dangerous campaign of incitement underway in the country. Elected officials are trying to profit politically at the expense of migrants, and this is a badge of shame for the country. That's a hot topic in Israel this morning.
OK, well, moving away from Israel to the internet and an IPO that's still making a lot of noise. That is, of course, Facebook. Its initial public offering really quite record-breaking, but you've seen a cartoon about it this time in the International Herald Tribune.
Well, we've had Facebook frenzy, we've gone to Facebook fury, it's been there every day, and it's a bit of a roller coaster ride for Mark Zuckerberg. And there, if you look closely in the cartoon in International Herald Tribune, there are regulatory issues now about whether he withheld damaging information about growth prospects. There will be lawsuits, but also perhaps the Securities and Exchanges Commission in Washington will be asking him about that. And we've got a forlorn Mark Zuckerberg there sitting down saying, well, he's got his hoodie there and his hand up saying, hey, we value privacy at Facebook, when he's being asked about what he may have concealed or not. Now, the Wall Street Journal Europe is reporting that this was a bungled offering, and that could be to the profit of the New York Stock Exchange itself. Apparently, according to that paper, the New York Stock Exchange has sounded Mark Zuckerberg out about transferring from NASDAQ to the NYSE. So that's a bit of a war breaking out there about IPOs between the two parts of the Wall Street. Now, that's a fascinating side of the business side, but there's also something in the New Yorker which I thought was hilarious. Is this the time for us to sign off Facebook? This is an article by Steve Carl, who's saying, well, leaving Facebook, Facebookistan, he calls it. The reason he calls it that is because he argues that there are greater and greater losses of privacy on Facebook, and in a sense it's become like the Stans, a sort of an oppressive dictatorship. Now, he's saying that, well, OK, I've decided that for citizenship reasons, I will leave Facebook. And to do that, you have to click on deactivate account. It's not straightforward, but you click on that, you deactivate, and then Facebook will come back to you and say, but what about all those people you're going to leave behind? They'll miss you so much. And so it goes on. So he said, well, OK, he'll do that. He'll ignore that and he'll move on, and he will say, he has to then give a reason why are you leaving. So Facebook says, well, what are you leaving for? So the joke there from him is, well, there's no button which says doubts about corporate governance. So he chose instead, I feel scared. I can tell you, he chose I don't feel safe on Facebook, and that exists on the deactivate choices. So he chose that and got off. And he says that basically he felt personally it was time for him to leave.
Perhaps something we can be thinking about. about. I don't feel safe. Still with Facebook, though, you found some details of the wedding details of Priscilla Chan and Mark Zuckerberg, who, of course, got married very recently.
This is trivia gone mental. It's in the San Francisco Chronicle. And what did they have at that wedding fest? He's a billionaire. He's the 29th richest man on the planet now. And he had a chocolate mouse. The price, $3.25 for that. And that was because Priscilla Chan and Mark Zuckerberg had that chocolate mouse on their first date. So that's a bit of trivia.
An actual mouse, not a computer mouse. I thought that might be a good play on words there. Thank you very much indeed, Nicholas, for that look at today's stories in the international press. Well, time for a reminder of our top story this hour here on France 24.